Hi, this is Brenda. Today is going to be a crafting day, and I thought I would go ahead and have you guys join me. I like to find little things at the thrift stores and dollar stores that I can maybe create with them later. And recently I found these. The first thing I found, let me take it off of here a little bit. I found this at the thrift store. It's so cute. It's a little white bird. It's in the little nest. And this also is wood slats. It has a little wire thing here. And what I'm going to do is the bird is going to be hanging up by a nail or whatever, and it'll be hanging underneath that loop. And then I want to put something down here. So I also, when I got the bird, it came with these little wood round things that you can decorate on. And I've already gotten 2 stamps, and I stamped this little scene of a bird nest. And down here it says, "Be strong and courageous," from Joshua 1:9. So I'm going to be painting that and painting some of this part of the board. I'm not sure exactly what design I'm going to paint on here yet, but I also will be painting the bird's nest and the little eggs that are in there and assembling this all together. At first I was going to try to have the nest like down here on a ledge, but I didn't really have anything that worked as a ledge. I had this cardboard thing that looks like wood, and I thought, well, maybe I could put the bird on it, but the bird doesn't really fit on there, and then I would have glued this to the bottom and then put the bird on there. But I didn't like it as much as having the bird hang up here. So this is how I'm going to do it then, is I'm going to have the bird hanging up here. Bird's going to be hanging up there. And down below, well, this will be mounted on the board, and I may even put some, I'm always talking and then I'm not showing you what I'm doing here. I may put some greenery around it, like some moss or something. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I will show you the next steps as I come along with it, and to do this little hanging for my spring door decoration. That's what I'm usually making things for, is through the seasons I put a little different thing on my door. And I just live in an apartment, but I do have a door that opens to the outside, and I'm on the 3rd floor. So it makes it nice and makes it more cozy rather than just having nothing on the door there right at our entry. And we do have a little deck too, which I decorate out there with my plants. But this is the project I'm going to work on now, and I'm going to get my supplies, and I won't be filming any of that, but I'll film more as I've assembled things and get ready to start painting and everything. Okay, I've gathered some of my paints. I'm going to start with this folk art paint. It's just an acrylic. It's kind of a teal. They call it blue sarcelle, something like that. I also liked this Americana lush green, which is really a forest green. I really like that color a lot. An off-white, a dark brown, and then I have these little tester paints that I can mix with colors, and so I've already mixed some of them. I've mixed the teal with some white, so we have different levels of that color. There's the off-white, and I've mixed some light brown, actually with some of this mustard kind of color with the white, and then I have the green. And I'm going to start painting on this first, and I'm just going to do some of the background to begin with. And I decided to do really light blue around the background. And I don't have to have, I don't care if it's the exact color. I kind of like to have it look variegated. So I will use different colors, and I'm just going to go around the little flowers and bushes that are down here that are surrounding these little eggs. Just touching the colors now and then, just making sure that I don't cover up all the details of the stamping that I did. I do have to be careful with stamps that sometimes if you get them wet, they will run, and then that, of course, it's in black, so then it could be hard to cover that up. I might go in even with a little darker. And remember, when you're painting with acrylics, they're going to dry darker than what they appear when they're wet. I have been painting. I am going to be 74 this year. I have been painting professionally since I was about 22. And I was dabbling in lots of paints and everything before that. I don't want any regular straight lines. We're doing a picture that's natural, nature. One thing that's really important when you're painting on wood is your consistency of your paint. If it's too runny, it's gonna drip and run. If it's too dry, you're not gonna get the coverage that you need. I made the bottom a little darker than what I'm gonna have on top. I'm gonna have it a little lighter tone in the top. I'm just using little quick brush strokes. Adding more white than what I did down in the bottom. So obviously light comes from the above or from the sides, and lower things are going to be more shaded. I'm not really aiming at being extremely accurate. I just want to give this more of a feeling of the hand painted look and leave it natural. Like nature. Nature, nothing is uniform in nature. Well, rarely. I have seen some crystals and stuff that has some that is more like that, but for the most part, nature is not. And for some reason, our minds, I used to teach children's art, and a long time ago, to supplement our income, as we were living in Alaska, my husband had a business where he fixed small aircraft. And children, when you're first starting painting, even adults, if you've never painted before, if you say mountain, they want to make a mountain just straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. They want to make a tree. They'll make it uniform. 5 limbs over here and 5 limbs over there. And that's not how nature is. You really need to go out and look. And when you're going to do painting or drawing, what do you really see? Usually if you see something just doesn't seem right, and then you'll find out that it was probably because you're not doing exactly what you see. Now, if you're just doing an abstract or something, it doesn't matter, right? But if you're doing, and even though this is not abstract, it's not completely real looking, you want to kind of give that feeling to the viewer. Now I'm just going to kind of soften these edges and kind of flare it out. You can see how I'm working my brush now. Instead of dabbing straight down, I'm rolling it, where I'm just trying to get this to just kind of blend out in here, slowly kind of blending it out. I'm using a lot more water now. I have to be careful. Turn this so it doesn't run, but I want to just give that softening to all the sides. I can see it kind of spreading out there now the way I want it. Recently got some new paint brushes. I have kept some of these brushes for probably the last 20 or more years. This is one of the newer ones. They last a long time if you take good care of them, and I'm not real meticulous about that either, but I do clean them after every time. Whenever I go and paint something, then I am cleaning it. I think I'll add a little bit more blue down here. Not too heavy on the paint, a little more liquid. A little darker right under there. Oops, dabbed in the wrong color. You notice I have a rag right here too. Those really handle, whether it's paper towels or whatever, just something to dab your brush on every now and then. Add some more color right in here. I'm not going to go right next to the lettering. I kind of like the look of it just being loose. There. And I think I'll work on next, I'm going to need a really fine tip. Let's see. I have a really fine tip. Can you see that? And then here's another little bit bigger tip. So you can see the two there. If you don't have the right brushes, it will be more hard to do any kind of detail work or get the blends that you want. So I was thinking that since the bird is white, and I've picked colors that are mostly in this bird that I have over here, the browns, white, black, natural colors, and then the green. So my green picks up that. But for the flowers, I thought I'm gonna, since the bird is white, I'm going to add white flowers. So on here, I'm just gonna dab in, and you don't, when I do this over stamping, I don't have to do everything solid. You just put the colors in where you want it. And my eyes are not as good as they used to be. I used to be able to paint in millimeter sizes. It was like these little teeny earrings I used to do. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember what the dimension was, but it was tiny little millimeters. But I can't see that well anymore. However, I have taken good care of my eyes. At least those last few years, I've really improved my diet, make sure I take care of the eyes. Getting exercise, they say that rebounding is really good even for your eyes too. You know, on those little trampoline things, the rebounder things. It's good for any age. You see how the little petals are coming out? And I'll come back in and give them little centers here in a little bit. Like that. Rather than have you watch every little petal that I'm doing, I'm going to stop this and I'll start it again when we're on to the next part. Okay, here's where we're at now. I went ahead and did the rest of the flowers. You know, I was doing those leaves, and then I put a blue dot in each one of the flowers. I also took when I had my little tiny brush, I put little blue in there where I hadn't made it all the way in when I was doing this part of the blue. And I painted the eggs on off-white. My two little brushes that I was showing you before, I always clean those and lay them down at the corner rather than leave them in the jar. The bigger brushes, it doesn't matter if I leave them in there for a while. But this is where we're at now. This will look nice when I glaze this. I may put a spray-on glaze, or I may do a different kind of a glaze on there. I haven't decided which one I want to put on there yet. But what I'm going to do next is, as you can see, this has got this nice bark all around the side, and on the back I'm going to remove this sticker, and then I'm going to glue that to this board, and then I will be able to show you more of how it looks after that. So I went ahead and finished putting a glaze over this. I put the Islands, not that one, it's this is the glue I used to put the wood thing glued it to this thing. But I put Mod Podge, that's what it is, Mod Podge gloss luster over the top after the paint had dried. I didn't put the luster right on top of these letterings because sometimes that will smudge the lettering also. That ink just doesn't go with some things. And I also oiled this wood so that it can be outdoors and it's not gonna hurt it. It's under cover, but still the moisture. And I'm real happy with how that turned out. I'll try to take a picture so I can show you later, and it'll show this bird hanging here, and it'll be on the wall so you can see how it's all gonna look. But that's how it turned out, and it was really quick and easy. It didn't take very long at all. It's something that you can do within an hour, and that includes picking out your paints and putting them on the palette and cleaning up and stuff. So hope you try some of these things out and then just enjoy crafting. I mean, it's one way to really de-stress in this world, is to go out and create something, make something beautiful. Another thing I do, because I don't have a place where I sell things anymore, as far as craft things that I make, I usually donate them. I might enjoy them for a little bit, and then I'll just make sure that they're really clean and packaged, send something, and then give it to the thrift store so that somebody else can enjoy it. And that's my crafting endeavor for today. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you continue to make things and be creative too. See you later.